farmers emphasize what people can do instead of looking at their disabilities. Also, we see that they demonstrate more perseverance if they stay longer on the farm. They learn to wake up on time, keep to their agreements, and build up a positive work experience. Those studies show that being in nature gives people a better mood, improves their concentration. They're recovering better from stress. So what I would like to show is that if you look at the numbers, that it's a really growing sector here in Europe. In the Netherlands, we see that for instance, in 1998, there were only 75 social farms, while there are 1,300 at the moment. My name is Marjolein Elings, and I'm a scientist green care at the Department of Agrosystems Research at Wageningen University and Research in the Netherlands. I would like to tell you something about the upcoming sector of social farming in the Netherlands and in Europe. But first of all, what is social farming? Well, social farms are farms that combine farming with care or green workplaces that are open to vulnerable people. In Europe, there are different definitions to describe a social or care farm, but we often use the definition of my colleagues Diakovo and O'Connor, and that is that social agriculture refers to all activities that make use of the agricultural context to provide care and social services. So we see social farms that are based on institutional grounds, for instance, on hospitals, care institutions, and schools, and that those farms offer green or agricultural activities. But we also see, like in the example of the Netherlands and Ireland, that they are often family farms that have expanded their businesses to include care activities. We not only see in the Netherlands, but also in other countries like in Norway, Belgium, and Italy and UK, that there's an increased number of social farms the last decade. And actually, you could see social farming or care farming as part of the green care umbrella of many activities that has a correlation or a connection with nature. You can think of, for instance, horticultural therapy, animal-assisted activities, but also being in nature that we now know has a positive effect on the health of people. Okay, and then if we look at who is actually running that farm, well, if we look at the Dutch situation here in the Netherlands, we see that often it were the farmer or the farmer's wife that started a social farm, often because the farmer's spouse, for instance, had a diploma in social work or in healthcare, and thought, why not combine these activities on my own farm? Because I have a very nice surrounding, I have a lot to offer people with a disability, so why won't I open my own care institution? But we also see nowadays that there are quite a lot of social workers or healthcare professionals that are a bit, kind of fed up with the bureaucracy in healthcare, and that would like to start a care farm for their own. So they buy a farm and they start a care farm. And we do see with also the expansion of different target groups that are coming to the social farm, that also other professionals are working on those social farms. And you can think about educational specialists, pedagogues, remedial educationalists, craftsmen and women. But what they are actually all have in common, that if you are working on a social farm, you need to be a social entrepreneur. So I think that is very important. And if we look at which persons do come and visit those social farms, we see that there is a diversity of target groups. And we also see, if we look at the development of the social farming sector in the Netherlands, we see that it also evolves. So at first, there were people coming there with learning difficulties, for instance, people with Down syndrome. But nowadays, the target groups really is really diverse. So people with mental ill health come on the farm, or people with addiction history. And we also see a difference in different countries because, for instance, we see that in countries like Ireland and Germany, also refugees, for instance, from Afghanistan or Syria, are coming to social farms. And there is also a very important target group that is not actually the people with a disability, but that are the volunteers that are coming to the farm, because lots of social farms rely on volunteers. So if we look at the different target groups, we could say people with learning difficulties come to the farm, people with mental health challenges, elderly with dementia, especially nowadays when the population is getting older, people with a history in addiction, people with a long distance to the labor market, children and youth with behavioral problems. And if we look at the Dutch situation, we also have quite some social farms that are focused on, for instance, school drops out. So they offer a educational program on the farm. And as I told you, refugees are coming to the farm, and people, for instance, recovering from a burnout. And if we combine all the research we have been done, we can say that the ground beneath the social farm, what is working, the working elements are actually 4 main qualities. And that's the engagement of farmer and supervisors, the social community, useful and diverse activities, and a green environment. And these qualities ensure that the care farm is an informal non-care context that is really different than from mainstream care. And I would like to tell something about those qualities. Farmer and or his family are always on the farm. So when a child comes back from school, he or she can share their story. The farmer also is a role model for the youngsters who have trouble with their identity. The farmer is proud of his business and what he has achieved, and the farm life is his identity. And we also see that especially boys respect the farmer's authority more easily than they would with youth care workers, for instance. And on the farm, the participant works together with the farmer, and he or she is part of the farmer's family. And this also creates an atmosphere of equality. So the farmers indicate that they have the freedom to conduct matters their own way, and they sometimes dare to take some risks. And with that, they can explore people's limits and challenge them. And they also can stimulate their responsibility. And what we see is farmers emphasize what people can do instead of looking at their disabilities. And if we look at social community, we see that working on a farm ensures participants are part of a social community consisting of other participants, the farmer's family, or other care providers. And next to that, the farm is also part of a larger community because it's in the village. The people are visiting the farm, so it's not a standalone institution. And from an effect study I did on people with psychiatric or addiction problems, we see the participants get more social contacts, and especially for people suffering with mental ill health, this is very important because of their mental illness. Often family or friends, they kind of were disconnected. And also what we see is that care workers that come together with participants to the social farm see that people recovering from addiction show more social behavior than they do on the regular facilities. And also we see that they demonstrate more perseverance if they stay longer on the farm. They learn to wake up on time, keep to their agreements, and build up a positive work experience. And especially for people that do not have that much positive experiences, it is very important. And it helps because on the farm, the plants and the animals are waiting for their help. So that is kind of, that is there in a natural way. And then if we look to the element of useful and diverse activities, participants mention that working on the farm gives them the feeling that they are doing something useful and that the farmer and his family are waiting for his or her help. And then finally, there are, of course, quite a lot of studies done on the relationship between nature and health. Those studies show that being in nature gives people a better mood, improves their concentration, they're recovering better from it's very positive that the elderly on the care farms show that they eat and drink more than on regular daycare facilities. And again, the social farm is a total different environment than people are used to. So people tell us that on the farm they make more use of their senses than in the city, where there are already a lot of stimuli and they are often get overstimulated. So to conclude, the farm environment can offer a variety of client groups a non-informal care context in which they can safely work on their personal development, work on their self-confidence in a safe and green environment with useful activities. So, and now I really would like to tell something about the development of the social farming sector in Europe, but I do see that my time is already running fast. So what I would like to show is that if you look at the numbers, that it's a really growing sector here in Europe. In the Netherlands, we see that in, for instance, in 1998, there were only 75 social farms, while there are 1,300 at the moment. And that also the revenues increased a lot. At the moment, the revenues of an average social farm in the Netherlands is 200,000 euros per year. And also we see that more people are coming to the social farms. And next with that, also quality is improved. So in our country, but also in other countries, there are quality marks to ensure that the healthcare that is given on the farms is of a good quality. And I would like to conclude with some informational points. If you want to search for more information on the development of the social sector in Europe, you could look on the website of the Green for Sea project. We made a market outlook report. Also, we have wrote a position paper on the social farming sector in Europe. For the EU, I was part as an expert in that group. You can also look that website. And at last, if you want to know more about our effect studies and what kind of positive effects social farms has on the development of different target groups, you could look at this report. See, you could scan this QR code and you come to a report that gives a summary of all the studies that have been done in this field. Or if you like to have more information, you can always contact me via email or give me a phone call, and I would love to share my experiences. And with this, I would like to end my presentation.